Hello and welcome to the next episode of CreativeCraft. Now, at the moment, I think this is my favourite place to stand. I can see the whole of the valley and then a bit of the enclosures up there. And it just looks absolutely gorgeous up here. And especially you can see all the dinosaurs are running around and such. Oh, some of them. Off camera, I have continued to moss this area on the top of here. I've almost finished the entire Tyranosaurus Enclosure. I've done little sections up here and grown a few more trees. And I've gone around that side of the mountain. Yes, it is a lot of mossing, and yes, it definitely needed doing. I've also decided that I wanted to change the designs to pick with me corridors. I was thinking these corridors going to the security centres paddocks did not seem durable enough, so I've changed them to this. And I much prefer this look. It's like it was more of a lab-like than a high security thing. So I've done that to the Velociraptor Security Centre. And I've also just changed the top of this so then it looks curves down much better, and that looks so much better, except I haven't actually done it on this section right here. This all needs moving up, which I will literally quickly, I can do just now like this. There we go, that looks better. So it's got nothing interfering with the lab. I've updated the eggs in here now, so we've got all of these eggs on show. Look at that, it's all the eggs so far, and yes, I still need to fix that. Another thing I wanted to show is the corridor towards the Dilophosaurus enclosure. I've also changed to this because this looks like a much more appropriate thing to go into an enclosure with. And then this is what it was like before. Oh, I'm lagging a bit. So I thought it was kind of the odd ones out, as it didn't match with this that was down here, which personally I thought looked a lot better. And well, I'm glad I've changed it because now I really like the way it looks. So I've been talking to Gigi and she has started her road. So let's go and take a look at it, shall we? So she started a chunk by her school over here when it loads. See it literally there. And of this pink pathway, which honestly I think it looks pretty good. The thing that Gigi's looking for is like a road in Japan that's got pink walkways on each side and then a black road in the middle. Looks like she's done this like walkways instead of vehicles and such, with then cherry trees on each side. And I personally think it's gonna look so cool. But yeah, this road has got to change, because think of those black tyres. As soon as vehicles start driving on this, they're definitely gonna wreck the way this looks. It's gonna start to go, well, that colour into this bright pink. And who wants that on this? Gigi doesn't want that. And to be honest, who wants to dirty up this beautiful road? It's better off for pedestrians. I shouldn't even be walking on it with these boots, to be honest. Even these are dirtying it up a bit. So I think it calls for a time lapse to finish her road, joining all the way with Jax, and possibly I might change the bridge to suit. Let's go. Now, all we've got to do is have a look at the results. Look at this. This looks so much like the image that Gigi sent. We've even got the bonus of these leaves falling from the trees. Makes this area just, it looks so good. It gives those particles. Look at that. So I think the best way to test it, well, because I've also added this section since the time lapse. Anyway, to test it is to grab the largest vehicle and drive across it. Which I can drive across this road all the way down, show you the effect. Oh, get stuck a bit there. And have a look at this. So with this bridge, Gigi's told me to leave it alone because she's going to make one that better fits the current road. So I've left that alone. The vehicles can, Land Rover can only just get through it, which is lucky. So I've got to return this because this is Gigi's Land Rover. She kind of uses it to drive around. But I am very happy with the way this has turned out. This has turned out so cool. It's also got me thinking. A road seems to look a lot better when it's flanked by trees. Well, I've kind of proved that with this. So if I go grab the smudge, just because of the sheer area that I've got here, that is a lot of trees. But see, that looks a lot better than that. Now you can see this from further away. I think it needs some trees. And don't worry, Jack has given me permission to do whatever changes to his base that I want. So would include taking it down, but I'd never do that. Why would I take this masterpiece down? So I've got an idea. Whether, because the majority of this base is made of netherwoods, that's why I've gone for this in the road design. I'm thinking of doing a nether forest underneath here. I'm not sure of a wart or I think some wart would be good. But I guess we'll see how that goes in this time lapse. Let's go! Night at the moment, but I really do want to show you the final result of what I've done underneath Jack's base, because I've done a little bit more than just the roads. I decided to do the entire section underneath his base, and I think it looks really good even at night. Because if I have a look at this, it was just a stranger to the landscape it was in. Now it's on this. In a sense, I've got lava here, and then I'm using magma and blackstone to sort of differentiate between solid lava and flowing lava. And yes, I have got barriers all the way over the top of this, so then Jack's donkey doesn't burn alive. So I think that is a really nice effect, especially when you look at it from a distance. The magma almost blends into the lava and then provides a smooth transition into the smooth basalt. And tried to do, as I said, warped around the edge, and then with some trees around the edge touching the road, and that gives you a foreground look at straight at the top, and then when you look up you see the entire of the sphere. And then I decided to pop the entire sphere onto an island of crimson. I didn't want to grow any of these trees because it would, you know, take away from the sphere, or is it the dome, whatever I want to call this. But overall, even at night, which is kind of a pain to get to look correct, it looks really nice. So here's what it looks like during the day, and still during the day, I love the way this looks. Absolutely, it just makes this section a whole lot better and makes Jack's base look a whole lot more complete. So it's joined into the nearby landscape. This didn't need anything, it's fine. Kind of fine as it is. But that, yeah, it needed something to blend. So today, so far, I've been really happy with these. Actually, I'm going to stop here for a little bit. The particles start to generate, and actually, once you've stopped here for a bit, this is when they all look the best. With all these fallen leaves, which really bring this place to life. Look at these particles. And Gigi's going to do this bridge here, and it transitions into this nethery fire hellscape a bit, which then this dome looks more at home with than just the normal plains. Then goes into my jungle. So the next part we've got to do, because I am not going to get on to doing the Tyrannosaurus this episode, as I'm doing a load of building, is I want to finish this section here. I want to do this section here, because I've got to smooth it down a little bit, or raise it up, to get it how I want it looking. So what the plan is for this section is the tour vehicle is going to come across this bridge, and it's kind of going to park up in this area here, or I'll flatten this and park here. So then the rest of this red line is going to be a pedestrian zone only. So a walkthrough, which then goes straight inside of the enclosure, similar to what I've got that viewing area in the Velociraptor enclosure. But this, the Tyrannosaurus, is going to be inside of a fallen tree. You can actually walk through the Tyrannosaurus enclosure. And then for Spinosaurus, this is going to be inside of, well, a shore cliff from a shoreline, as the Spinosaurus is actually semi-aquatic. And I haven't got the path laid out for the volcano yet, because I want to get the volcano built before I do. And I'm just planning to loop around back through the Tyrannosaurus enclosure, straight to the vehicles. And then you've got a little path that goes down towards back into the valley, if you want to go down that. There's just one tiny little bit of building I need to do, and then after that I'll be able to start Tyrannosaurus next episode. So there's one thing to say. I think we need to do a time lapse. Let's go! And finally, that area over there by the mountain makes sense a bit more, and it's how I want it. So as you see, this new area that I've done enforces the slope going from this side by the bridge to the top of the new bit of terraining where the enclosure is going to be. So the way I've done is, during the time lapse, I thought at either side of the road, why don't I just bring the terrain up just a little bit and have it just bop up and go down like this towards this path, so it gives it some elevation on both sides. And I think that really helped with this effect of connecting it from the bridge to the enclosure. And after that, running down this, there was a bit of terrain here which I've taken down, and then I originally had this as a slope which would have looked really good, it would have looked fine, but I wanted something different. I wanted to do a cave, because that makes more sense to back these vehicles into a cave instead of doing the headache of doing parking spaces along here. And the way this has turned out, I really like it. This time I tried just to use only right angles on there with the dirt coming down, and then same with the stone, and it gives this dripped look which I think looks really cool. It kind of looks like certain parts have already fell down, and it makes it look a whole lot more realistic and joins the top to the bottom, because that's a thing that's really difficult to do when you're building caves. Join the inside to the outside smoothly. And the trees help hide everything. That's the thing about trees. If you plant a load of them, they will just hide the most of your terrain, but they will kind of exaggerate the shape of it a little bit, like these have. So I've also decided to separate the footpath to go, was originally going along here, but from the road, which now just goes straight up to this parking area. So instead, I've got this section that comes off, this footpath goes down to the other side of the cave. Gives a much more sense walking up here to get from the cars to get up to enclosure and join onto this track, which if they want to don't want to see a Tyrannosaurus, and just walk down here and have a look at the herbivores in the valley, which is vibe this makes, the trees around here makes, that I really like. So that's all I have time for this episode. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would really help. And I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.